The IHSAA Champions Network welcomes you to another Indiana High School Sports Showcase event. Tonight, it's Lawrence North and the Wildcats against the Greyhounds of Carmel High. The IHSAA Champions Network tonight is sponsored by the Indiana Pacers and the Indiana Fever, the Indianapolis Colts, Farmers Insurance Group, Auto, Home, and Life Insurance. Get a free online quote at farmers.com. By the folks at Subway, eat fresh. Methodist Sports Medicine, get back in the game. Sharp Business Systems, work without limits. And by Wilson Sporting Goods, the official ball of the IHSAA. Along with our executive producer, Rick Vanderweilen, our director, Jeff Luzader, and my sidekick, Jan Bozier, this is Jerry Baker, and welcome into Lawrence North High School for what is going to be one of the premier games of the state as the season begins to wind down. Lawrence North 14-3 on the year. Carmel's Greyhounds at 15-2. And let's talk about this ball club, Jan. Both ball clubs. We've seen Lawrence North. We have seen Carmel. We know that these two ball clubs are not only good, but they legitimately have a chance to advance a long way in the state tournament, considering the fact that at the start of the year, Carmel was ranked number 1 in the state.
No question about it. Both of them very tournament-oriented type teams. Very quick, big inside, good shooters, and both of them play pretty good defense.
And we're 17 games into the season, which means that the tournament draw is coming up in a couple of weeks. Then the tournament gets underway. Right now, you're trying to finalize your starting lineups, your rotation. You're trying to find out how your ball club is going to react to the pressure of a tournament. And when you got two ball clubs this good, under the coaching staff that they have, this is a really, I guess, a good test for the tournament upcoming.
Well, it is, and maybe one of the more important things is bench. Both teams really hasn't varied from their starting lineups much in this whole season, but really might come into play with a little bit of injuries. How will the benches come into play? Because both teams don't go real deep.
And they're both members of the MIC, Metropolitan Interscholastic Conference, so a conference championship is something they're both shooting for likewise.
Well, there's 4 teams, Bake, Ben Davis, Carmel, North Central, and Lawrence North, all with just 1 loss. Everybody hasn't played equal games yet, so you always want to win your conference, and both teams will be really shooting for that. You lose tonight, and you really probably are out.
Now we're going to get to the starting lineups now for both these ball clubs tonight. First off, for the visitors, the Carmel Greyhounds at 15-2 on the year. They will start 2 guards, Ryan Klein, a 6'5", 190-pound senior, and Ethan Merriweather, a 6'2", 175-pound sophomore. At forwards, Preston Flamian, 6'5", 190, a junior, and Keegan Culp, 6'6", 190, a senior. And their big guy in the middle stands 6 feet 9 inches tall, weighs 240. He's a senior, Liam Duncan. That's the Carmel starting 5 for Coach Scott Hetty in his 5th year at the school, a record of 94-23. 20 years overall in the coaching ranks of Indiana high school basketball, 310 and 150. For Lawrence North, they will start Antoine Cushingberry, a 5'9", 150-pound freshman at one of the guard spots. Jalen McKay will also start at guard, 6', 170, a junior. And the third guard, and this is their big gunner, Pat Bacon, a 6', 165-pound senior. At forward, a freshman, 6'7", 210, Kevin Easley. And at center, Wesley Bender, 6'6", 220, a junior. They are coached by Jack Keeper, one of the legends in the business. 39 years here at Lawrence North, the only coach this school has ever had. He is 658 and 267 here. Overall, 43 years in coaching, 719 wins, 293 losses. Also a head coach at Frankfort High and Oak Hill High. And Chad, as you mentioned, the starting lineups have not varied very much 17 games into the season, and that's a good sign if you're a head coach.
No question about it. Bake for Carmel, 2 big stats. First of all, they only give up 43 points a ball game. That is 16th in the state in defense, and clearly that's their Achilles heel. The second stat for me, Bake, they shoot 45% from three-point line. They love to get off to good starts. For the Lawrence North, it's all about the crisp bacon, baby. He averages over 27, and he is dynamite quick. and they'll put pressure on these good Carmel guards.
And one of the things we have noticed in one of the games we did, this guard, Antoine Cushenberry, only a freshman, has really developed as the year has gone on.
Yeah, the freshman he's no longer a freshman, as the coaches will tell you. It's showtime now, Big.
In the dark uniforms, the Carmel Greyhounds. As I mentioned, 15-2 on the year. Lawrence North in the home whites, and we are ready to go now on the IHSAA Champions Television Network. Opening tip controlled by Lawrence North. As Jan mentioned, this is a ball club that averages 66.5 points per game. Carmel defensively allows only 43-1. So who's going to win the battle, the offense or the defense? Carmel sets up in what appears to be a zone defense early on, basically a 2-3 it appears.
Yeah, Carmel will mix it up, the 2-3 to the man-to-man. Now, LN, they'll like to push it a little more, and this zone is kind of meant to slow them down.
Keep an eye on number 25 in white, Lawrence North's Pat Bacon. As Jan just mentioned, he is the young man they will go to. He is a good shooter and an excellent playmaker overall. The ball knocked out of bounds. If this game is anything like the JV game, we're in for something, Jan, with Carmel winning 48-46, scoring a bucket with 10 seconds to go, and LN had a shot at the buzzer for 3 to win the game.
Well, it wouldn't surprise me at all. For the Carmel Greyhounds, shot selection, Bake, is everything. They are one of the best teams in the state at really being patient for shot selection.
Keegan Culp out of the right side. Now they're bringing it back out to Merriweather. He's only a sophomore. As we have pointed out on our previous telecast, it's interesting to me how many good teams are playing a lot of youngsters. The long-range three rattles off the rim. The rebound put right back up and good, though, by Keegan Culp.
Culp averaging over 12 points per ball game.
First points of the night, 2-0 in favor of the Carmel Greyhounds. Again, in the dark uniform. School colors, of course, are royal blue and gold. And for Lawrence North, the forest green and scarlet. And, of course, they're wearing white tonight, trimmed in the red and the green. Nice crowd on hand here at LN.
And a great band by LN. Aren't they good?
They are very good. In fact, you're going to hear them because they're right next to us here. Bacon picks it up with a deep left side. And again, now they're going to just use this zone defense. Bacon from way outside the three-point mark gets the bucket. Pat Bacon getting the three-point field goal. And all of a sudden, LN takes the lead, the first lead change of the game.
Well, we had him at Garrett Catholic, and he just put on a show, and he can do it. He's an excellent ball player, Big.
Couple of minutes into the first quarter of tonight's game. Glad to have you along on IHSAATV.org. We've had some terrific games this year. We've had a real blast just bringing it to you. Our thanks to all the folks of the IHSAA and our executive director, Mr. Vanderweilen. Here's a traveling violation. The turnover now.
Yeah, that's a good call. No question about it. Klein scoot the feet a little bit. Going to Purdue. Mr. Vanderweilen smiles every time we say that.
In fact, he gives us $1 each time we do that. We're up to quite a substantial amount of money right now. 5.5 to go, first quarter. 3-2 ball game. Lawrence North with the basketball and with that lead. Here's the jumper right out front that won't go, and right in the middle on that rebound is Keegan Culp. He averages 5.5 rebounds per game. As the ball club, they average just under 26 rebounds per. Baseline left side, got it. Nice looking shot down there by Culp, and he has all 4 of the points now for Carmel.
Well, Culp, he benefits because Klein is so good. When Klein's covered, he sees the floor as well as anybody, and Culp is a recipient of a lot of Klein's passes.
Yeah, Klein is the biggest scorer on this Carmel ball club, averaging just under 19 points a game. But as Jan points out, if you slough off on him, they've got other guys who can get the job done. Flipped it outside to Preston Flamey and turned it over. Second turnover of the ball game now for Carmel. And the driving layup is up and good, and it's Bacon.
Yeah, there's that pressure we talked about. One of the things every team fears by this LM ball club is that front court pressure.
Interesting reading. Here's the long three. Got it. That is Klein. That's the young man we were just talking about. That is his 50th three-pointer of the year. He was 49 for 110 coming into tonight's game. That's terrific three-point shooting.
Yeah, and what I think he didn't get Mr. McDonald All-American, in my opinion, he should have. But a lot of reason he didn't, because he's so unselfish. He could easily average 25 but he's a great assist guy.
Bacon missing on the left side, just inside. The rebound comes off into the hands, though, of McKay. And they'll start the offense all over again at the 3:45 mark of this first quarter.
One of the reasons Carmel in the 2-3 zone for rebounding, paying off pretty well, allowing just a couple extra shots for the Wildcats.
Driving inside, then flipping it back outside, off into the corner again to Cushingberry. Cushingberry, as we mentioned, only a freshman, 5'9", 150. And it's a little unusual for Jack Kiefer to put this kind of responsibility on a freshman, but he's earned it. Now they double team inside. They move it back over. Here is Cushingberry. And it's off the mark, but again the rebound comes back into the hands of LN.
Well, last couple possessions, the Wildcats have really did a nice job on the offensive glass. Got a couple extra looks at it.
Now Cushingberry's going to run the offense from long range.
Well, the 2-3 zone is slowing LN down.
It really is, Dan.
LN doesn't seem to be flustered by it, though.
It's really slowed them down, but as you say, there's two ways to react. Either panic or do what they're doing right now.
And if you don't panic and you cash in, 2-3 doesn't do much to you.
Absolutely. Turnaround shot inside. Got it.
Gorgeous
shot that time by Kevin Easley. He gets the first 2 points of the game in his column, and we are tied for the first time at 7. Already 3 lead changes in this game.
Well, Bake Easley Jr. doesn't force anything, averages just under 10. But he took an excellent shot that time.
I was mentioning that Kyle Neddenreep, who covers high school sports for the Indianapolis Star, made an astute comment. I think it's this morning's paper. He said LN is a kind of a ball club that could beat anybody, and so is Carmel for that matter. They had a terrific start of the season, and then fell out of the number 1 spot. Now they've come back, and their record is 15-2. Here's the baseline shot on the right side. And that is Ryan Klein getting the bucket. Klein now with 5. And LN with a 2-point deficit. Here's Cushingberry again. And near steal, almost knocked away by Klein. Here's the driving layup by Cushingberry, and it rolls in.
You know, the interesting thing for me, Bake, is the fact that Carmel averages just at 53 points a game. That's interesting for a team that's 15-2.
That's a good point, Jan, because you normally find those kind of ball clubs average up 65, 70 points a ball game.
That tells you how good their defense has been. And they take really good shots action, and they'll run a lot of clock doing it.
So with 1:15 to go, we are tied for the second time at 9. 3 outside. Yes, it is good. And that is Preston Flamian. Flamian's 7th three-pointer of the year. 6 for 20 coming into the game tonight. 35% from outside the arc.
Well, that's the other piece of Carmel's arsenal is they'll spread it around.
Working inside, just muscling inside that time is Wesley Bender. First time we have called Wesley's name. And the lead goes, well, it's still a 1-point lead. We've had 5 lead changes already in this first quarter of play.
Well, Bender averages about 10. If LN can get 20 out of their bigs, that's what they want, and that's a good night.
At the point, Ethan Merriweather, only a sophomore. They may be playing for the final shot of the first quarter. Carmel's up by 1, 12-11.
And no free throws in the first period.
Now, this thing is really been flying by. No real stoppage in action whatsoever. Now we're down to 15 seconds to go in the first quarter.
They want the ball in Klein's hands. He'll look at it now with 8 seconds. He'll go.
Here he is, Klein, shooting 50% from the field. Now they double out high, and he almost turned it over. They're going to get the shot away as the buzzer sounds, and they got it.
What a shot!
Deep left side, Keegan Culp. And Culp finishes the first quarter with 7 points. And after one, a 4-point lead for Carmel, 15-11 over Lawrence North on the IHSAA Champions Network.
Are you a fan of exciting action, great sporting atmosphere, and good displays of sportsmanship?
I am definitely a fan.
High school sports, pure spirit, pure sport, pure entertainment value. Are you a fan of amazing spirit, incredible drama, and affordable ticket prices?
I'm definitely a fan.
High school sports, pure spirit, pure sport, pure entertainment value.
Jerry Baker, Jan Bosher, and the rest of our IHSAA TV crew on hand at LN High School. Carmel Greyhounds 15-2. They lost at North Central in the fourth game of the year, 66-59. And that was the start of a 7-game road stretch. And the only game that they lost in that, I remember Jan talking about that back when we did their earlier game. They played 7 straight on the road, went 6-1. Reverse layup inside is a beauty by Preston Flamian. And Flamian now with 5. Colt leads Carmel's scoring with 7 as the Lawrence North Wildcats throw it away. For Lawrence North, 5 points from Pat Bacon on a 3 and a 2-point field goal.
Coach Hetty goes to a half-court press. And I like it when you change defenses, kind of put a wrinkle in there, and LN didn't adjust and threw it away.
Yeah, they got a 6-point lead. That's the biggest of the ball game. And here's a foul being called against Lawrence North, the first foul of the game.
Well, that's going on number 25, Bacon, and he is in the grill and then some of Klein. That's how close they're wanting to play him, and he got a little too close that time.
First foul of the game. LN gets it inside. They get the reverse layup, and it's blocked on a good defensive play on the floor that time by Kevin Easley. And now here comes LN on the break. They've got numbers. They get the layup. They get the bucket. Jalen McKay. McKay's first 2 points of the game.
Well, that's vintage LN. They want to push the ball. Honestly, Bake, I thought that 2-3 really kind of dictated the pace of this ball game.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised they went away from it, but then again, the coaches want to shift things up from time to time and see how it's what effectiveness it may have early on in the contest. Carmel has put Sterling Brown in the lineup now, number 10, a 6-foot, 170-pound sophomore in at one of those guard spots. He is out there right now with Ryan Klein. Here he is going to the hoop, and he's going to be bumped going inside. And let's see if they're going to call it a shooting foul or not.
I talked about how close Pat Bacon was guarding Klein. Obviously, LN's game plan is to keep Klein under control, and probably nobody better than Bacon to take that task because he is so quick, and he's one of those players, Bacon, can play so close to Klein, and Klein is so good if you get in his face, he can drive around you, but Bacon's one of those players who can adjust and still make it back to the basket.
They called the foul on Jalen McKay, his first. Sterling Brown going to the line, shooting 66%, misses the front end of the two. And missed the second one. And the rebound comes off into the hands of Pat Bacon. Down the lane they go. Here's the shot up and off the mark by Dion Gilbert, who also is a sub now for head coach Jack Keeper.
Well, Carmel as a team shoots 70% from the free throw line. That's a rare couple misses for them. And once again, LN in the game they want to play. Get the ball out and go.
That foul, by the way, was on Keegan Culp, first of the night on him. At the line, gets the roll. Dion Gilbert. Gilbert off the bench, 6'2", 155. He's a senior. And the 6-point lead is now down to 2. And we'll see what changes, if anything, either of the coaches want to make either offensively or defensively with 6:20 to go here in the first half. 17-15 ball game. Carmel in the dark uniforms with the lead and the basketball.
Beck, look how close they're playing Klein. They will not let him go anywhere without somebody right in his face. This time is Cushenberry.
Here's the long three again, and they got it again. That's Preston Flamian's second three-pointer of the game and his 8th of the year. Now, this is a guy the scouting report would say you don't have to worry about him, and he's got 2 already tonight.
Carmel, the reason they're number 4 is because just about any player they put out there can score.
5-point lead. Bacon from outside gets 3 of them right back.
Yeah, this kid's special. I'm telling you, Carmel's got to know where he's at all times.
His second 3 of the game. He has 8 points already in the contest, and the lead chopped down to 2 again at 5.5 to go here in the first half. Again, man, we're talking about Ryan Klein is number 11, if you want to keep a close watch on him. Another long-range 3, and again, this is from Keegan Culp for his second 3 of the game, and 51 on the year. And he's in double-figure scoring already with 10.
Carmel's making a statement right now, and they've did it so often. You think you're going to just shut us down by shutting Klein down? We're going to have other people step up.
Now they're still back in that 2-3 zone right now, Jan. I don't see why you'd leave that as long as you're having any kind of success with it.
Yeah, I agree. Two things it does. Really helps Carmel inside rebounding and also continues to slow this game down.
Well, as we pointed out, neither ball club really prolific offensively with the kind of records they have. You would expect that they might be, but they're not. Here's Bacon inside, tried the reverse and no good. And the rebound yanked out of there by Preston Flamian. He averages just under 5 rebounds per game. 23-18. Chance now for Carmel to get their biggest lead of the night, and they got another 3 from Klein. That's 2 for him.
And he makes you pay if you leave him alone for just a second. See, he went almost 3 minutes without even touching the ball, and LN kind of went asleep on him just for that one possession.
And the Greyhounds stretch the lead to 8, their biggest high water mark so far in this contest tonight. Spinning inside. Shot is up, off the mark, knocked away. Jarrett. And stolen now, turned over by Lawrence North, only their 3rd so far in the game. Deep left wing, they'll bring it back out and start the offense up all over again. They don't force very much, Jan.
No, they really don't. Talked about shot selection in the opening. They won't force much at all.
Here is Klein, left-handed shot will not go, but he'll go to the line. Notice how he shifted hands to the right, to the left, Jan. He knew he was going to get hammered inside that time.
That's why he will be so good at Purdue, because he can hit the 3 with regularity, and then he has that great use of his body that can draw the foul.
Foul is on number 52, Raw Petty, a 6'8", 190-pound sophomore for Lawrence North.
Boy, Carmel 0 for 3.
As we mentioned, they're a 70% free throw shooting team. All right, Preston Flamian coming out of the lineup. Now a substitution for Lawrence North. Jalen McKay going back out onto the court. And Wesley Bender likewise returning for the hometown Lawrence North Wildcats. They're 14-3 on the year. Klein with the second one, and this time they've got it. So they are 1 for 4 from the free throw line, and that gives Ryan Klein 9 points so far in this contest. The lead goes to 9, Jan.
Yeah, Carmel has slowly just built on this lead a little by little, and that's allowed them to stay in this zone, and that's what they want to do.
Easily way out high. Right side to McKay, and now back out they come to Jarrett.
And Beck, the other piece for Carmel is they're not really extending their guards real far out. Now, they'll do it on the ball side, but then the off-ball guy, he'll really collapse, really trying to guard the paint.
Here's Cushingberry. Down to 3 minutes to go in the first half. Cushingberry, right side. Goes baseline, couldn't find anybody, and finally just kind of flipped it out there, and McKay saved the day for him. Well, they're just not getting inside at all right now.
This is what LN wants to do. Their bread and butter is to pound it inside, and then when everybody collapses, then kick it back out for the 3. But let's give LN a lot of credit, Beck. They're really patient.
Yeah, they are. Now they do get it inside, and they missed the shot from Wesley Bender, but he will go to the line and shoot a couple of shots.
That was great patience by LN, because they really wanted to emphasize getting inside to the bigs and get to the free throw line.
Foul is on Trent Richardson of Carmel, the 6'8", 215-pound junior. Both ball clubs doing a lot of subbing early on, Jen. A little more than I really expected.
Well, that's what I talked about in the early part of it, is how will the benches play into this ball game. We're pretty settled on all these starters, know what they can do, but as you well know, down the stretch, somebody's going to get in foul trouble or somebody's going to get hurt, and you got to have that bench to take you over the edge.
Liam Duncan back into the lineup now for Carmel. Second free throw by Bender after hitting the first. And this one is short. Got his own rebound and put it up and missed a gimme. Knocked out of bounds. It'll stay in the possession of LN. He knew as soon as he shot it, Jan wasn't going to go in, and ball, he took off.
Yeah, that's a mistake on Carmel. The upper two people's got to block out the shooter, and nobody did.
2:25 to go here in the first half. Lawrence North Wildcats. This is a ball club that has been pointed out, very, very dangerous type ball club when it gets tournament time. Cushingberry had a look, change his mind. Now they'll come over to the near side, go right back out to Bacon. They got Bacon playing right out of the point. And he's been, as I recall, Jan, pretty much effective down on the baseline
there
area.
He is. They got him open. That's
he
why.
Knocked it home.
Yep, that's great execution out of LN. A lot of movement. They got a high ball screen, got Bacon loose for the three.
It's his third three-pointer so far. He has 4 field goals, and 3 of the 4 have been from the three-point area. He has 11.
That was a must possession for LN.
I'm at 35 to go in the first half. Carmel Greyhounds will fire from long range again. This is way off the mark, but the foul was called on the three-point attempt by Kevin Easley, the first of the game of the 6'7", 210-pound freshman.
You know, Jerry, I thought that was a mistake on his part because that was not a good shot by Carmel. Off balance, 2 feet from the three-point line, and he bailed him out on the foul because it just wasn't a good shot. Should have just left that one alone.
Lawrence North's loss. Well, they lost their third game of the year, to, they lost to Noblesville for the first time. It's the first free throw was good by 3. Had a 7-point loss to Warren Central in overtime and a 5-pointer to North Central. So, Jan, they've lost 3 games by 15 points. Second free throw good. Now a change into the lineup again. Preston Flamian, one of the starters.
Yeah, we talked about Carmel shoots 70% from the free throw line. They've missed 3 here already.
And Culp, 82% on the year.
Wow, there's miss number 4.
From 19 to 23 coming into that free throw attempt.
And LN doesn't block out this time on the free throws. Both teams misses a couple blockouts here. And at this point in time in the season, that's fundamentals you really cannot mess up on.
So the possession arrow will give the ball to Lawrence North with about 25 to go in the first half. At halftime, we're going to have Chris Giffen, the head coach of the Lawrence North Ladies.
Boy, how good are they?
They are something. He's going to come and join us for a couple of minutes at halftime.
3 years in a row winning the MIC for the girls.
Inside, shot won't go. Foul will be called. It'll be against Carmel, and I think they're going to hit Liam Duncan. Yep.
Well, that time Carmel was not near as active on their zone, and LN found that opening inside, and this is exactly what LN wants to do, Jerry. If they can get inside, get the points or a foul, that's what they'll do.
First free throw shot is off the mark by Bender. He is now 1 for 3 from the line. 3 points so far in the game. And this one is short likewise. The rebound taken down inside by Duncan, but knocked away by Lawrence North. They get a reset.
Well, both teams really missing some valuable free throws, and I'm like you. I think this thing's going to come down to the wire, and both teams are going to look at the scorebook and go, well, if we would have hit free throws. At least here early, anyway.
Again, the patience of Lawrence North against this 2-3 zone. Pull up outside shot, no good. This time the rebound is taken down, but stolen again by Lawrence North. Here's Bacon, nothing doing this time. Rebound is now picked up by Carmel.
Well, Lynn took a lot of time off that time and came away with nothing.
Yeah. Now, Jen, it wouldn't surprise me to see Carmel go for the final shot of the first half.
Absolutely. 7-point lead.
Oops, not now they're not, because here is the steal. And here comes Bacon, and he missed the layup, but the putback is up and good by Kevin Easley.
Good follow-up by Easley. Costly mistake by the Greyhounds.
5 seconds to go, first half. Quickly inside. Here is Klein all the way in. He's going to be fouled with 2 seconds to go on the first half.
That's not a good foul by LN either. Well, I take that back. If he's on the floor, there's only 2 seconds. That may not be a bad foul.
It's on Easley, Jen. That'll be 2 on him. Nobody in foul trouble so far in the first half. Yeah, because they've got fouls to give here.
Yeah, I take that back. That's actually a good foul because Klein probably would have scored.
So the inbounds pass. They'll try to get it to Klein if they can. They get it inside, and it's knocked away, and that's going to take us through the first half. And a quick played first half of this ball game. The Carmel Greyhounds led 15-11 after 1. At halftime, they are up by 5, 29-24. As I mentioned, Chris Gibbon will join us in a couple of moments. Stick around for that on the IHSAA Champions Network.
Ball at their own 36.
You want a playoff atmosphere? I got you one right here.
First down, Luck out of the gun again. Andrew takes the snap. Sets up, looks. He's going to throw one way downfield. It's T.Y. He's got it! He's going to score! He's going to score! He's going to score! The Colts have tied it! Oh my God! On a 64-yard pass play from Andrew Luck to T.Y. Hilton. It's 44.
Halftime score, the Carmel Greyhounds 29 and the Lawrence North Wildcats 24. The IHSAATV.org game of the week here. Gibbon, the head girls basketball coach, joining us here at halftime. His ball club and himself and his assistant coaches all honored prior to the game tonight. Ball club ranked 3rd in the state, 22-1. That one came up a couple of nights ago. That took care of the undefeated season, didn't it?
It did. It did. We, we had plenty of chances over at Heritage, but
that's a good ball club.
Yeah, exactly. Hopefully, they're really talented and deep, as we like to think we are, and hopefully getting that behind us, so to speak. You never wish for losses, but you got to learn from wins and you got to learn from losses, and hopefully we'll be able to do just that.
I hear coaches once in a while say, "Well, a loss now and then is good for us," and I've heard the other coaches say, "No, that's not true." How did that affect your ball club?
Well, I'm of the school that I don't buy the inevitability of losses. I think when they occur, you've got to learn from them and try and correct certain mistakes that obviously contributed to your team getting beat, and that's what we've tried to do. The girls certainly were aware of an undefeated season intact, but once that happens and the Heritage beats us, we've got to move on and get ready for the tournament, and we've tried to do just that.
Let's get out of the negative mode here. Yeah. Tell me who's your key player or players that's got your ball club to this 22-1 mark this year.
Well, we've got a lot of them, but I've got 2 seniors that are both headed for Big Ten schools. Lamena Cooper is going to Purdue University, and Jordan Hankins is headed to Northwestern in Chicago, which obviously. 2 Big Ten universities, great academic situations, and certainly good basketball programs. And I've got a junior, Ariana Harris, that's also verbally committed to Purdue, and several others, Lauren Dickerson, Amber Morgan, Amani Ferguson. I've got a collection of girls that I think are all potentially down the line going to be Division I type players. So we're very fortunate.
This is your 3rd year here at the school, correct?
Correct.
How is the program growing over this 3-year span of time under your tutelage?
Well, I like to think a lot, but I want to give most of the credit to the girls and their families. I've been very blessed with an unbelievable amount of talent, and you still got to mold that talent and work with it, but they make my job easy. We've got a really good culture here now, I think, and it's established, and the girls and their families have all bought in, and ideally we can just keep this thing going, and our success will breed more success.
We're talking with Chris Gibbon, the girls basketball coach here at Lawrence North High School. You just picked up your 3rd MIC championship.
We did. That's unbelievable to think that 3 years in, and I've got the ability to be in a position to compete, and we're able to have gotten all 3.
And also, this was the 22 wins represent a high watermark for this program.
Correct, and a watermark that we eclipsed from last year's team. So we're building on success, and again, it's the kids and my assistants, and we try and be we're a players first program. It's something I borrowed a little bit from John Calipari. You know, we're trying to get kids to the next level, get them free educations, and win while we're here, and teach them all about how to, you know, form a team and stay a team and compete as a team and sacrifice. So,
if you look at Chris's background, it's far too long for the time we have at halftime tonight, but I have to ask you, the relationship that you had with Coach Bob Knight down at IU, what was your position with him, and how was he to work around?
I was fortunate to be a student manager from '98 to 2000, and I actually, with two other guys, quit when he was dismissed in September of 2000, and he gave me the opportunity, invited me to come down to Lubbock, Texas, where then I served as a graduate assistant. And Coach has been everything to me. I mean, he gave me all the opportunities in the world. He's still, you know, at my disposal, so to speak. Anytime I reach out and seek some of his wisdom, you know, he gives me that. Anytime I've ever needed anything, he's been there for me. So I don't have any of the horror stories. You know, everybody's got faults, and he certainly is not immune from that, but he's been great for me.
Now, before I let you go, congratulations, I understand, are in order. You have a 4-year-old daughter, and now you have a 2
week and a half. We're approaching 2 weeks. We're approaching 2 weeks.
How has that been?
Let's just say sleep is at a premium. Let's just say sleep is at a premium, and it's not ideal in terms of our tournament, but it's ideal for the family, and obviously that's first. So.
Now, I did talk to Grant Nesbitt, your athletic director, and he said that the night after your wife gave birth, you had a game, and you showed up.
I was there. Yeah, you know, again, we're a family, and my wife knows that. You know, I read Bill Parcells said this years ago, that you're married to your kids too. It's not just the spouse, and so she's been, you know, unbelievably supportive, and she knew that a practice I would miss, but I wasn't going to miss a game, and so I showed up. I drove separately to Fishers and coached, and we were able to win, and so that made me obviously extremely happy. Then I went back to the hospital.
And how was the 4-year-old taking this?
She's doing okay, but the attention, she's missing the attention all being on her. So,
listen, congratulations on a great year.
You've
got
much.
A tough way to go in the state tournament. You're on that south draw with Bedford, North Lawrence, and Columbus North. So, good luck to you guys.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
All right, Chris Gippen, the head basketball coach for the ladies here at Lawrence North High School. We'll take a break and come back for the second half of the boys' game between Lawrence North and Carmel here on the IHSAA Champions Television Network.
It's easy to buy insurance and forget about it. But the more you learn about your coverage, the more gaps you might find. Like how you thought you were covered for this.
Check it out, Mom.
When you're really only covered for this. Or how you figured you're covered for this when you're actually paying for this. You might be surprised at what's hiding in your coverage. Talk to Farmers and get smarter about your insurance.
We are Farmers. Bum, ba, bum, 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 bum.
To speak with a Farmers agent in your community, call 888-96.
We're back now at Lawrence North High School. Jerry Baker, the big guy, is Dan Bozier. We're delighted to have you along down on IHSAATV.org. And our thanks again to Chris Given. You know, the ladies here have drawn as much notoriety as the guys have, and Chris has done a terrific job with them.
Yeah, 3 MIC conference championships in a row, and they just beat a big-time Noblesville ball club who's rated number 5 or 6, so they got a lot of momentum going into the tournament.
And they're going to have a tough way to go because they're in that southern half of the draw, as I mentioned to Chris, and down there the powerhouse Columbus North, Bedford North Lawrence likewise, so that's going to be a real battle royal to get out of that mess.
Yeah, it should be a really, really good girls tournament this year.
Now talk to me a minute about this game. At halftime it's 29-24. Lawrence North is down by 5. You mentioned their patience. Now but mainly because right now what Carmel is doing is throwing up that 2-3 zone, and they're not really pressing the issue. Jan, 24 points in the first half from a ball club that averages about 54 for a game. Not that far off, I guess. What do they got to do in the second half?
Well, Carmel needs to hit free throws, and so does LN. LN was just 50% in the first half. Carmel, 43%. They normally hit 70. I thought the 2-3 was effective for the most part, but LN didn't panic. They really, there in the last couple minutes, of that second period, really was patient and got back in this thing, only a 5-point difference.
The individual scoring in the first half of this game for the visitors, the Carmel Greyhounds. They had 12 points from Keegan Coffin. 6 of those came from the three-point area. 9 points from Ryan Klein. The other 8 from Preston Flamian. 2 of the starters did not score. For Lawrence North, they had 6 players scoring, led by, as you might expect, Pat Bacon with 11, including 3 three-pointers. And nobody else had over 4 points. That was Kevin Easley. So they got their big score, Pat Bacon, scoring, but they're going to have to find some help from somewhere else.
Well, and they start going down low to Bender, and I thought he was very effective down low in the latter part of the second half. I really like the fact that Bacon didn't force his game, really let it come to him, and when he was open, he produced.
The Lawrence North Wildcats were unranked at the start of the season. Right now, the Associated Press has them ranked number 7 in Class 4A. The Indiana basketball coaches, which ranked them all in one single class, had them number 7 likewise. Sagarin has them number 9. Carmel Greyhounds ranked number 1 of the state in the AP poll. The basketball coaches had them number 2 behind Homestead. The current rankings had them both 4 in the AP and the IBCA poll, and Sagarin has them number 5. So, Jan, we're seeing 2 of the top 10 teams in the state here tonight.
And Klein, obviously, he was just had a guy in his face the whole first half, and he was still able to put up 9 points. But LN also found out you guard Klein really close. Culp really, filled in adequately for the Greyhounds from outside.
You mentioned Klein going to Purdue. Last year, head coach Scott Heady called him the best shooter he has coached in 19 years.
No question about it, and one of the best shooters in 19 years, not just at Carmel.
So here we go now. Second half is underway. Again, the Carmel Greyhounds in the dark uniforms. They drop it inside to the big guy, Trent Richardson, who gets the call at start this second half. Here's Cushingberry. Misses the shot, draws the foul. Cushingberry, Jan, had only 2 points. That was on a field goal in the first quarter of play. So they didn't get a whole lot out of him.
This will be the third time now that I've seen LN play, and they're much more patient now. Early on, they really had a tendency to rush things, and they have really slowed their game down and let the game come to them.
A personal foul, by the way.
But they can turn it on in a heartbeat if they need to. They've still, probably 6 or 8 points in transition.
I think they changed their mind. They originally put that foul on Culp. I think they changed it over to Flamian, and if so, that would be his first of the game, 30 seconds into this second half. The lead has been as high as 9 for Carmel. Lawrence North's big lead has been 1. We had 5 lead changes in the first half of this game, and a couple of ties.
Bake LN continues to switch defenders on Klein. This time it's McKay.
Now here's a foul down low and a bumping foul on Cushingberry. They were having a battle down there. Cushingberry at 5'9". And Flamian 6'5". So Cushingberry gets his first foul.
I'm getting exhausted just watching Klein work to get open. He has really have to put effort to get open.
That's number 11 of the dark uniforms, in case you're wondering.
Look at the defense on him. They just... Where he goes, they go.
Now they've got right now, they put Jalen McKay, a 6-foot, 170-pound junior, on him, and Jan says he's all over him. Here is Klein. This time the shot is no good, and the rebound picked back up by Carmel, put up and off the mark for the foul call.
Well, that was great defense by LN. Now here's the problem. They had great defense, but because they didn't get a backside checkout, Carmel gets a second look at it. Great hustle that time.
That was on Jalen McKay of Lawrence North. That's the second foul on him. And here is Flamian at the line for the first time tonight. 53% shooter.
You don't talk a lot about Flamian. He's kind of diamond in the rough. Yeah. He's a really good player, but so much attention goes to so many other players.
He is third in the ball club in assists, and that's what you want from a guy like that who scores 8.5 points a game, a guy that can go out there and set up the Kleins and people of that ilk. He goes back to 5 at 31-26, 6.5 to go now in the third quarter. Well, they're not going to get out of that zone, are they, Jan?
No, as long as they keep this lead, they'll stay in that zone.
And here's a steal, knocked away and saved by Easley. Here is Bacon. I thought he had walked for just a moment, and the shot from right out point-blank range rolls out, and the foul is going to be called against Lawrence North.
Your thinking was very accurate. He shuffled his feet, didn't get caught, but LN gets caught from the backside and was on a push, so it didn't matter.
That foul is on Wesley Bender of Lawrence North, the first on the big 6'6", 220-pound junior.
I will say this, Bacon's feet are so fast, it's a wonder you don't see him shuffle.
Not a lot of turnovers in this game, not a particularly superbly played game, but nonetheless not a lot of turnovers.
LN needs a good possession here. They've come away empty-handed. The zone's now starting to affect them just a little bit. They need to get their movement back and see if they can go down and get Bender more involved. So that time I thought Bacon had a look and he didn't take it.
Here's Bacon again. Now he's out at the point. They don't get the ball to him. Flip it over to the near side. Here's Cushingberry. No good. Rebound inside by two guys in the dark uniforms, so they almost turned it over. Here is Klein. Had it stolen away and then got it right back to steal initially by McKay. Open look. No. And the rebound put right back up and good. Good-looking offensive rebound by Flamian.
Boy, he's been his 4 in this period. That's 12 on the game, and he's been the difference maker for Carmel.
33-26, so the lead begins to extend again. At halftime, it was 5 at 29-24. So Lawrence North has scored only 2 points on 2 free throws by Cushingberry in this third quarter. They'll fire for 3. It's way short. Off into the hands Preston Flamian again.
Now, in my opinion, Bacon has to be a little more unselfish. He's got to get the ball, and they need to run this offense through him.
Nice spin move inside, and a foul called. And it's going to be on, I believe, Bender again.
I'm not sure LN doesn't need a timeout.
Yep, that's second foul on Wesley.
And look who's got the offensive board again. There's Flamian back to the free throw line.
Doing a heck of a job.
Yes, he is.
So he's at the free throw line where he is 2 out of 2.
Boy, there's another miss.
Preston coming into the game, averaging 8.5 points, just under 5 rebounds.
Carmel just 50% on the game, 5 for 10.
Preston not really a good free throw shooter, but he is now 3 out of 4 coming into the game. 60 of 99 for 61%. Substitution now for Lawrence North. Raw Petty coming in, 6'8", 190, a sophomore.
Now this is a good move by Carmel with the lead, extending their pressure defense.
Bacon gets inside, flips it down to the baseline, and it is a jungle down there, and out comes Carmel with it again.
LN's just has no flow right now to their offense at all. Carmel scores here. I just can't imagine Coach Kiefer not calling a timeout.
Well, Jack's going to have to kind of regroup the forces. They're down by 8. A bucket here would give Carmel the biggest lead they've had of the game. Here is Klein. Starts to drive. Bacon's got him all the way inside. Got it. Klein's first 2 points in the second half, 11 on the night, and the lead goes to 10.
Got to go through Bacon. He needs to get active and move, get the ball, get his shot.
Kicked away. You know, the only answer for a zone like that, Jan, is to shoot over it and force them to come out of it. And they're not getting that job done.
No, they're not. And LN hasn't helped their cause here in this third period. Let's give a lot of credit to the Greyhounds in their defense. That said, LN has not moved particularly well in this third period against the zone.
Now here you go. Bacon. Yep, little 15-footer left side, rims out of there. The rebound is taken down, and Kevin Easley's got it. The freshman will be fouled. And I think we'll go to the line on the putback.
Vic, there's only a couple ways to beat a zone. You dribble through, get penetration, or you move with good ball rotation. That time, paint penetration, that was still a good shot. LN will take that any day.
Foul was on Culp. That'll be Keegan's second foul. And Easley goes to the line and knocks home the first one. Easley now with 5 points on the night.
We're down to 3:35 in this period, and LN doesn't even have a field goal.
We mentioned Lawrence North starts 2 freshmen, and that's a little unusual But when you've got a 14-3 record, it's working. And as Jan mentioned earlier, by this time of the year, you ain't a freshman no more.
No more. LN's got to get a stop here. They need to get this thing down a couple more points going into the fourth period, or Carmel will just milk the clock in the fourth period.
Here's Klein.
See what Carmel does so well, Beck, by being so patient. And you do that because you got the lead, is then they limit the shots that the other opponent can have. That's why the scores that you look down for Carmel are so low.
Ryan last year shot 43% on the season from the three-point zone. Klein did, number 11 we're talking about. This year he's 49 of 110, and add 2 more to that tonight. Now a 30-second timeout has been taken. Jim, we'll take a moment and talk about what's coming up next week. The girls' state tournament is going to start next week, and we're going to head, as it plans right now, to Hamilton Southeastern for their game on Saturday night. Right now, number 5 Noblesville against 14th ranked Carmel on Tuesday in a single game there. Wednesday, Zionsville against number 9 Fishers at 6. Westfield, Hamilton Southeastern at 7:30. And then on Friday, North Central gets a bye and plays the winner of the Noblesville-Carmel game at 6. Winner of game 2 plays at 7:30. And then the championship game on Saturday at 7:30. And we're going to be there to televise that game for you.
Wow, they've got some really, really good ball clubs in that tournament. You can look down there, and really, there's a multiple set of ball clubs that could come out of there champions.
You know, we thought that Noblesville game against Lawrence North a couple of nights ago was going to be some kind of a ball game. And Lawrence North
won it pretty good.
They ran all over them. That shows you how good that ball club is. Anyway, if you got a chance, come up to Hamilton Southeastern for any of the games Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, or join us on Saturday night, either right here on IHSAATV.org or come on out in person and support the young ladies.
Beck, during that timeout, Coach Hetty was all in the face of his team. He is really on the attention to details. He did not like their ball movement at all and was really animated about it.
Merriweather, now they go to Klein again. This time it rattles off the top of the board and no good. And the white shirts have got it again. Here is Cushingberry all the way in for the layup. He's got it and he's fouled.
Yeah, that's a great transition bucket by LN, and I suspect Coach Kiefer talked about that. Guys, if we rebound correctly, we can get out and go.
The foul is going to be on Klein, and that's the first of the game on him. And as you pointed out, Champ, with 2:21 to go, they've gone 5.5 minutes, and that's the first field goal in the third quarter.
That's huge. Ball game is back to a 5-point lead.
Another substitution now. Carmel will take Merriweather out of the lineup. I don't imagine Klein will see much pine time in this game. He's going to be out there. They have put Sterling Brown, who played in the first half, one of the guards at 6'170", a sophomore, and he lost the ball, and the layup is good on the steal by Jalen McKay.
Yeah, too much dribbling by the Greyhounds, and McKay with the strip. We talked about the quickness of LN, and it come into play there, Bake.
And now it's a one-possession ball game as Klein brings it across the line. Almost a full house on the LN side of the arena tonight, and a good crowd on the Carmel side of things. We thought this would be a heck of a ball game, and so far we haven't misjudged it. Here's Klein. As soon as he gets it, Cushingberry comes right out on him to drop it outside now to Brown.
Great defense by Cushingberry.
You betcha. Inside, maybe one too many passes. And no shot available for Flamian, so they bring it out, set it up again. Here's Culp. In and out, no good. And the rebound taken off by Carmel. And a foul.
Boy, I'll tell you, the unsung hero for me is number 31, Flamian. He had that rebound as well. Now, it didn't matter, but he's been the difference maker for me in this game.
That foul is on Bacon. That'll be 2 on Pat. Minute 21 to go in the third quarter of tonight's game. Now, this is about the point where if Carmel doesn't have something, well, Klein's got to take the shot and knock it home.
Yeah, he stayed under control, didn't force it, got his feet under him, and 14 for Kleinbeck.
That's the third three-pointer of the game. He has 52 on the year, 39-33. Now let's see what LN wants to do in the final minute of this third. Jack Kiefer along the sideline. They got it inside. They got a good look, and the putback is up and no good by Raw Petty. And out it comes again to Carmel's Greyhounds. And they notoriously have been just taking plenty of time and going for the final shot, but now they're going to go to the line, I think.
Yeah, I think Klein's going to shoot some free throws. Well, they're going to call it on the floor,
yeah,
I think.
Okay.
Yep.
That is the 6th foul against the Wildcats, so not in the shooting situation as of yet. From now on, Carmel will be shooting shots.
For Carmel to run this clock down to about 10 seconds, 8. And then they'll make a move to the hoop.
3rd straight quarter they've done this, Jay.
Yeah, they do an excellent job of getting the ball and having possession near the end of just about every quarter.
39-33, Carmel with the basketball and the 6-point lead. It's been as high as 10. 2 ties, but they go a long time ago, back at 7 and 9.
This is a big defensive possession, in my opinion, for LN.
Wide open look near side by Culp. Rattles in and out. Picked off by Lawrence North. They got the lead man up, and the basket's going to count.
That's a big-time transition bucket, Bake. Did it with less than 2 seconds.
And just like that, what could have been a 6 or 7 point lead is at 4. We'll go to the 4th quarter. It's 39-35. Carmel over Lawrence North of the IHSAA Champions Network.
Are you a fan of exciting action, great sporting atmosphere, and good displays of sportsmanship?
I am definitely a fan.
High school sports, pure spirit, pure sport, pure entertainment value. Are you a fan of amazing spirit, incredible drama, and affordable ticket prices?
I'm definitely a fan.
High school sports, pure spirit, pure sport, pure entertainment value.
Well, as we get set to go to the 4th quarter, Jan, it's still a Carmel lead, but things changed dramatically in the final couple of seconds there in that 3rd quarter.
Great defense by LN that period. Klein only had 5 that period, and Flamian had the other points. Nobody else from Carmel scored.
Now, if I'm a Carmel fan or coaching staff, I'm a little concerned about one thing, Jan, and that is they're in the game. They're ahead by 4, 39-35, but they've only got 3 guys who have scored in the entire game.
Yeah, in most cases you would be, but that's just typical Carmel. That's if you look down their stat book, that's pretty much what they do every game.
Yeah, they would have got Ryan Klein as their leading scorer with 18-9, and Culp is behind him at 12-1. Those are the only players who score in double figures.
Both teams have shot 11 free throws on the ball game. LN with 8, Carmel with 6.
And Bacon just knocked one home from long range. Pat now with 14 points. And it's a 39-38 lead for the Carmel Greyhounds.
LN scratched a claw.
Klein from long. Klein! Ryan Klein answers with his 4th 3-point field goal tonight and 17 of the contest.
What do they say? Stars shine when it's necessary, and he did.
Well, he didn't waste any time,
no, he didn't.
42-38, a 4-point ball game. Just over 7 minutes to go. Here's the long-range 3 by Jarrett. It's off the mark, and the rebound comes off to the Greyhounds again. Carmel looking for win number 16. Lawrence North win number 15. Klein again.
You're
Got
kidding
it
me.
Again.
You're kidding me, Big. That one was 3 feet beyond the arc, and LN wants a timeout.
Boy, just like that, a lead that was 4 has suddenly jumped to 7, and we take a full timeout with 6:48 to go on the IHSAA Champions Network.
Ball at their own 36.
You want a playoff atmosphere? I got you one right here.
First down, Luck out of the gun again. Andrew takes the snap. Sets up, looks. He's going to throw one way downfield. It's T.Y. He's got it! He's going to score! He's going to score! He's going to score! The Colts have tied it! Oh, my God! On a 64-yard pass play from Andrew Luck. to T.Y. Hilton. It's 44-40.
Jan, this is 2 weeks in a row we've had a super game. Last week we were down in Columbus North, and by the way, we wish the Spidell family, Josh and everybody down there, the very, very best.
Thanks for bringing that up.
Boy, the young man was in an automobile accident, seriously hurt. We are hopeful that at his age and with the physical condition he was in, he'll get out of that okay. But our thoughts are with you, boy.
No doubt about it. Hang in there, buddy.
Here we go now, the final 6:35 to go in this fourth quarter. And it's out of bounds, and nice touch, they say, by Lawrence North.
And big to his whole family, too.
Yeah, you betcha.
Tough times.
I don't know if you saw it or not, Jan, but the Columbus East rivals
I did.
Came to the game the other night and sat behind the bench.
That just absolutely class out of the Columbus community.
6.5 to go here in the fourth quarter. LN has led only one time in this ball game, partly because every time they get close, what you just saw a couple of minutes ago happens again. Here's another three by Klein, no good, and it's going to be a push-off down on the baseline. They got the rebound, but the foul is going to be on Brent Beery.
Yeah, good call by the official. This has been a well-officiated game.
It has been, yes.
They've let him play, and they've called it when it's needed.
Beery, by the way, off the bench, 6'5", 215, a sophomore. This is only his 8th appearance of the year. The lead at 7 with 6:10 to go. Carmel, in the dark uniforms, has the lead. They've led by as many as 10.
Nice pass.
Oh, beautiful pass that time from Jalen McKay down inside to Wesley Bender. And for Bender, his first field goal in the second half. In fact, his first field goal since the first quarter of this game.
I love great passing.
And they're going to set the offense up again. This time, Merriweather runs it. Got it to Klein. As soon as they did, they double-teamed him. Now they're going to get in trouble down to the baseline area. The ball goes off the leg of one of the Wildcats. Last year, this ball club, Lawrence North, 12-9. They lost to Tech, the eventual state champions in 4A, 82-52. In the opening game of the sectional, have done a terrific job of turning it around.
Kick by Carmel, stay all inside. Not a bad defensive play, honestly, because LN had some little bit of a transitional break, and Carmel was able to break it up.
Lawrence North is in the Warren Central sectional with Roncalli, Cathedral, Lawrence Central, and Tech. That'll be a heck of a battle there. Bacon outside. Now they go on the near side to Cushingberry. It's off the mark, and Carmel's got it. The Greyhounds will play in the sectional at Carmel with North Central, Hamilton Southeastern, Fishers, Noblesville, Westfield, and Zionsville.
LN, you got it. You can't go to sleep on Mr. Bacon. He's got to get the ball in his hands.
Open man inside, spinning, little 5-foot pusher right out front by Merriweather is good, and Ethan scores his first 2 points of the game, Jan. It becomes the first one other than the three we mentioned to score. 47-40, 7 points for Carmel out in front, 4:50 to go in the fourth. Trying to penetrate, dishing out is McKay. He'll fire from the corner and good, but a foul had been called prior to that, so wipe the three off your score sheets. And the foul is going to be on Flamian. That'll be number 2 on the junior. We take a timeout with 4:43 to go. 7-point lead for Carmel on the IHSAA Champions Network.
It's easy to buy insurance and forget about it. But the more you learn about your coverage, the more gaps you might find. Like how you thought you were covered for this.
Check it out, Mom.
When you're really only covered for this. Or how you figured you're covered for this when you're actually paying for this. You might be surprised at what's hiding in your coverage. Talk to Farmers and get smarter about your insurance.
We are Farmers. Bum, ba, bum, 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 bum.
To speak with a Farmers agent in your community, call 888-96
Back at LN, boy, there have been some great players come through here, Jan.
Oh, my word.
Mike Conley, Ohio State. Eric Montross, North Carolina. Greg Oden, Mr. Basketball, Ohio State. And they had a terrific NASCAR driver, Kenny Irwin, who was killed in a crash back in 2000, also attended this school. So they've had some very notable alumni here.
Well, 4 state champions, and it was with the cause of a lot of really good players.
And, of course, Jackson won them all because he's the only coach the school's ever had. This school opened up in the fall of 76. They're not getting very many second opportunities, they being Lawrence North.
No, that's a good shot for LN, but that's a great call. Carmel really doing a great job of allowing just one shot.
Now let's see how patient Carmel is offensively. We've talked about how patient LN has been offensively.
Carmel should be in no hurry except for this.
And they missed a gimme right inside by Beery. Loose ball on the floor, picked up and saved by Lawrence North, off into the hands of Jalen McKay.
Big possession for LN, Beck. They've come away empty-handed the last couple possessions.
Well, I think they're all pretty darn big
right now. Yes, they are now.
Here's Bacon, nothing doing. And even though they were pushed outside, they managed to get the offensive rebound, and McKay scores his 8th point of the game.
That was huge. 5 points now. LN needs to stop.
LN has pretty much stayed with the shifting man-to-man.
They're doing a lot of switching on this Carmel motion offense.
I mentioned it when we did Carmel earlier this year, Jan. The thing that I admired of Scott Heddy's ball club a year ago was fundamentally they're awfully sound.
Well, there's a reason for that. A few minutes ago, I talked about him calling a timeout, and he was pretty animated, and this one may be animated as well.
Yeah, going to take a 30-second timeout. Yeah, that's one of the keys to the Carmel success because they're not overly big. They do have some quicks out there, but the point is they don't make a lot of stupid mistakes.
Well, and that's the reason for good coaching. They're very, very disciplined. When you don't make mistakes, get good shots, play pretty good defense, not much left to do but win, right?
Following tonight's game, Carmel will play Hamilton Southeastern at Carmel on Thursday. And Lawrence North will be at Ben Davis Thursday night. As I mentioned, Carmel goes to the Carmel sectional, and they'll head north in the tournament. They'll play in the Marion Regional if they get out of that sectional. Lawrence North heads south. They will play in the Lawrence Central sectional, and then if they win that, they'll head down to Southport for that regional down there. And the tournament draw for the guys coming up in a couple of weeks, the boys' state finals down at Bankers Life on the 28th of March. Can it be that soon already, for crying out loud?
Well, there's 2 things I'm really glad about. A, I love the tournament. B, that means it's going to get warmer.
Yeah. Either order is okay with me. 47-42 in favor of the Greyhounds. Now some pressure on defensively by Lawrence North.
That's a great call by Coach Kiefer. LN's got to produce some offense out of their defense.
Now they've got Klein out in that center circle out there. Swing it down to the baseline area is Culp. Now they're going to swing it down even lower in that direction to Flamian. Now the bounce pass inside, and the layup is off the mark. Saved, though, by the Greyhounds. Klein's got it. As soon as he's got it, 2 white shirts come all over him. Now Cushingberry is out on top of him.
Carmel just eating this clock up.
Aren't they? Down to 2:35 to go. They had an open man underneath, but good defense by Lawrence North. And the double dribble by that defense down there. They had 2 guys, Kevin Easley and Wesley Bender, who really double-teamed the Carmel Greyhound player.
Yeah, just a 2-possession game right now. Bake LN does not need to be in a hurry. It's important that they get a good shot.
2:33 to go as Cushingberry walks it across the timeline. They get it in the corner. They take the 3. Nope, they fake the 3. Bacon, he is pretty deadly from that particular area. Bacon takes it back outside to Cushingberry. Now they go inside to Easley, and the foul prior to the shot. And that's going to be the 7th. Well, both ball clubs are now going to be in the bonus situation.
Yeah, next time
around. So the foul was put on Richardson. That's 2 on the junior.
Bacon's got to move. He's got to move.
Pull-up jumper from about 15 feet away. Nothing doing. Terrific position on the rebound, but stolen by Lawrence North, and then an ensuing foul by Carmel. Jen, that's twice now somebody has come in from behind one of the Carmel players. We saw it earlier and knocked the ball away.
Well, give a lot of credit to Bender because he stays so active in there on the glass, and for LN to win this game, if he can stay active and go to the free throw line and more importantly hit them, they got a shot.
Richardson with his third foul. At the line is Wesley Bender. He's 1 for 3 in the game tonight.
LN now 9 for 12 on the ball game.
Bender with a half a dozen points. 6'6", 220 and a junior. Starting center of the Wildcats.
6 points, but he's been battling inside. None bigger than this one right here.
Well, we got a foul on the rebound. And I think Carmel's going to get hit again.
See, Bake, a lot of people think when the ball goes up and hits the top of the backboard, that is out of bounds. It is not unless it hits something up there. If it goes over the backboard, then it's a dead ball.
The third foul on Flamian, and they got the right guy at the line now, and Bacon, he's up there for the first time tonight. Hard to believe, but a guy as active as he for the first time getting to the line. He has 15 points to his credit tonight. Now 16. And now it is a one-possession ball game.
Yep, 11 for 14. LN's got back in this by hitting free throws, Bake.
47-45. Here is Klein. Dishes it off on the near side to Merriweather. Back to Klein they go. And they dropped it in the middle and knocked away. Bad pass. Numbers on the break, and the shot is no good. And Klein comes off with the rebound, and Klein's going to be fouled.
Yeah, not a good pass at all by Klein, but he makes it up. And that's a good point right here. Klein knew he made a bad pass, hustled back, and makes a great defensive play, and then a defensive rebound, and kind of saved the day there.
Yeah, he didn't hang his head, which he could have, Jan, and given up an easy 2 points.
Because that'd been a tie ball game.
Pat Bacon committed the foul. That'll be 3 on him, and now Klein goes to the line. 75% on the year. Well, this young man, he has 20 points tonight, including 5 three-pointers. Boy's got a nice shot.
Yes, he does. Carmel's first free throw here in the fourth period. They are now 7 for 12 on the night.
Ryan Klein with 54 three-pointers on the year. He was 49 of 110 coming in.
How hard has he had to work for his points tonight, too? It's not like he hadn't been guarded.
No, you're right. He has 22. His average is 18.9. A minute 45 to go here in the fourth quarter.
Still plenty of time. LN does not need to force.
Cushingberry down to the corner to McKay. That's Cushingberry. Boy, they want to get the ball in the hands of Bacon. Yeah. I would think he's standing alone on the left side.
He needs to, in my opinion, his offense doesn't call him to cut through.
And Jack going to take a timeout.
Yeah, and I think he's going to talk about exactly what where Bacon's got to move.
Absolutely. Full timeout. We'll do the same with the IHSAA Champions Network.
Are you a fan of exciting action, great sporting atmosphere, and good displays of sportsmanship?
I am definitely a fan.
High school sports, pure spirit, pure sport, pure entertainment value. Are you a fan of amazing spirit, incredible drama, and affordable ticket prices?
I'm definitely a fan.
High school sports, pure spirit, pure sport, pure entertainment value.
Lawrence North cheering section has been standing since the opening tip-off, and you can see the sign, "We love Bacon." And why not, Jan? He has right now 16 points on the night, but they're going to have to love him on the court because he's the guy that's going to get him back in here down by 4.
That's my sign. I think I dropped it somewhere. I start off every morning with that sign. We love Bacon.
It's a different kind of Bacon. 49-45. Carmel by 4. 1:20 to go. Fourth quarter of the ball game. LN has it. They've got it out to Cushingberry. Where is Bacon? He's settled on the left side. They do get it inside. Cushingberry. First points, fourth quarter, 9 on the night. Now it's a one possession game. Inside they go, and a missed shot down low by Big Beery. Now here they come. This is McKay, and he's fouled. Offensive foul. Offensive foul.
Oh, my.
Mr. Kiefer is not caring for that. Well, that's one of the toughest calls in all of basketball, but the official did not even hesitate. A timeout will be taken now by Carmel, and it's a full timeout, so stick around for the final 55.7 of the IHSAA Champions Network.
Ball at their own 36.
You want a playoff atmosphere? I got you one right here.
First down, Luck out of the gun again. Andrew takes the snap. Sets up, looks. He's going to throw one way downfield. It's T.Y. He's got it! He's going to score! He's going to score! He's going to score! The Colts have tied it! Oh, my God! On a 64-yard pass play from Andrew Luck to T.Y. Hilton. It's 44.
Less than a minute to go in this terrific game at Lawrence North High School tonight. 55.7 seconds, 49-47 the score. Carmel Greyhounds with the lead. They led by 10. LN's done a nice job getting back into a jam, but they've got to get that ball into the hands of Bacon, I think.
I couldn't agree more. I think he's got to move a little more. This is Coach Kiefer's 926th game as the head coach of LN, and he couldn't believe that call.
Trying to get it inside to Klein. They do. Klein lost it. Battle on the boards, and it's on the floor. A held ball.
I think it's Carmel's ball with the arrow.
It's going to be into the hands of the Greyhounds, right down in front of the Lawrence North bench down there. And
Carmel did not do a great job of getting the ball inbounds. LN with a lot of pressure.
I thought for a moment that Carmel had called another timeout, but apparently not. The official signaled in this direction, but not the case. 51.7 now. That took 4 seconds off the clock. They got it into Klein. That's who they want to have in the hands of the basketball. Cushingberry all over him. Now they double. Got to hurry. Gets it off on the near side to Merriweather. Merriweather gets it across the timeline. Has it knocked away and stolen by McKay. Inside they go. Cushingberry back outside. They thought about the three. Changed their mind. There's Bacon. That's the guy they want to have it.
2-point ball game. People standing now, Big.
Well, this baby is wide open, and apparently now they're going to take a timeout. Jack says he'll take the timeout, and we'll stay right here with it with 24.3. So let's give you a quick recap of the game tonight, Jan. After the first quarter, it was Carmel up by 15-11. Carmel in that 2-3 zone, extremely effective. At halftime, they were up again by 5, 29-24. They kicked the lead up to 10 early on in the third quarter, but led after 3, 39-35 on a terrific effort by the Greyhounds. Cushingberry in the final couple of seconds there. And right now, with 24.3, 49-47 Carmel.
Well, two things have been very well for LN. Number one, they've rebounded much better and got some transition out of the rebounding. But we talked about in the very beginning, what was the dangerous piece of LN? It was the pressure their guards could put on other teams. Right now, they're playing havoc on the Carmel guards, getting the ball down the court.
Which they were not doing early on in the contest.
Yeah, that's very correct.
They kind of jumped back in their half-court defense, and by design, they still stayed in the game. Even when they were down by 10, Jen, they made a couple of quick buckets and got right back in it again, and now they got a chance to win it. Now, what does Jack Keeper do in this situation? You've got the ball in the hands of Bacon. He's just kind of standing there. They surely won't play for the final shot, will they? with 24-3?
I think they may. That would be difficult. That's a long time. But I think what he's emphasizing, guys, we only need 2. We don't have to have 3.
Yep.
Get the best shot.
Let's keep an eye on Kevin Easley, their big 6'7", 210-pound freshman, number 34. He is posted right at the free throw line. Cushingberry. Near side, they come down to McKay. They got it inside. They missed the shot. Here is the guy I just talked about, but it won't matter. There's been a foul called against Carmel with 16.2 to play.
Well, that's a good set play. They have Bender posting up, and then on the other side, they have Easley Jr. in case he misses it to rebound. They're only going to say bonus, no shot here. So he's got to make the first bake.
All right, Easley is 2 out of 2 from the line tonight.
LN 11 for 14 on the night as a team. He got it.
Easley's being looked at by IU, Purdue, IUPUI, Indiana, Purdue, Fort Wayne, Butler, Illinois, Temple, St. Louis, and probably many more since I gathered that particular list. Here's a chance to tie the game for the first time since it was 9-9. Got them both. Now let's see what Carmel wants to do here. They're going to go ahead and play this out, I think.
Well, they'll want it in Klein's hands, but don't forget, he's an incredible passer.
Here's the jump shot for the win, and he got it! Ryan Klein hits a three-pointer, his third in this quarter. I mean, you got to have the guts of a burglar to do that.
You know, that's the confidence that he has. He wants the ball. He shoots the ball, and he shot it from 21 feet, and he did it. He was completely under control in the process.
He has 6 three-pointers tonight. I'll go back to the comment that I made earlier, quoting the head coach, Scott Heddy. His comment was, Klein is the best shooter I have coached in 19 years. That was a comment he made last year. I would say if you asked him in his 20th year, he might say the best I've coached in 20 years.
Well, Beck, there's been an awful lot of great, scores, people who score 25, 30 points per ball game. But when you think of the pure shooters, you go back to people like Rick Mount, Damon Bailey. How
about the Shepherd boys up there?
The Shepherd boys,
Billy and David.
Yeah, that's a great point. They used to shoot him as soon as they got out of their car. But boy, he's as good as any of those as far as pure shooters are concerned. Now, still 6.3, plenty of time here for LN, but Carmel's got to D it up.
Now, they do need that 3 now.
Yes, absolutely, and that's why Carmel's 3 was so big.
Last year, Carmel was 21-2, lost to Hamilton Southeastern 50-42 in the sectional. Regular season loss to Cathedral. They had a great player in Zach McRoberts, who is going to went to Vermont. They won their 3rd straight MIC championship, their 4th overall.
The thing that was so impressive about that three-pointer is he's a full-speed dribble, stops on the dime, shoots it. Can't guard that.
No, you can't fault the defense for that. Now they're going to take another timeout here. Again, I'll reiterate, if you're out there watching, for $5.
Oh, my word.
I remember what Robin Miller said last week when we interviewed him at halftime. Robin working with the IndyCar series. In typical Robin fashion, you can't beat a deal like this.
It's just the purest form of sports.
It is the best.
It's just, great band, full house, both teams battling. This is the way it's supposed to be in Indiana.
Lawrence North looking for its 5th state championship. They won it all in single class in '89, beating Kokomo. They won them in straight seasons, 4, 5, and 6, beating Columbia City, Muncie Central, both in 2005 and 2006. Jack Keeper, of course, the coach. The Carmel Greyhounds have 4 championships to their credit. In '77, a single championship under Eric Clark. And then in 2012 and 2013, the 4A titles. They beat Pike in 12 and Cathedral in 13. Scott Heddy, both seasons, was the head coach. Well, Jan, you gotta think that their outside shooter is 25, Pat Bacon. And, of course, if we think that, so does Carmel.
Well, and just as Carmel, everyone knew Klein wanted to shoot, and he did. Bacon is that good as well.
Yep.
Now, the difference is LN's got to make a 3 to stay in the thing, just to run it to overtime.
So, again, I don't find any fault with the LN defense, particularly on that Klein shot.
No. Sometimes people just make plays. That was just a play.
Yeah, you got to turn around and say,
nice
shot, buddy.
Great Great shot.
Now they've got to go the full 90 feet of the court to get some kind of a shot away. They've got it off into the hands now of Pat Bacon. This is where they want it. He will fire up the three. It's going to be way short and go out of bounds. Was it touched? Apparently not. And that's the ball game.
It was partially blocked is what it was.
He had a decent look, but again, the defense was right there.
I think they may put more time on here, and I think they should, quite honestly.
Now, let's don't shake hands just yet. The officials, and Jack Heber's out helping the officials.
Well, I think he's got a point because that went out of bounds, and I seen the clock run. There may be... they're going to say ball game.
It's over. Ball game over. Well, the clock would have kept on running anyway, Jan, even if it did go out of bounds.
Well, they say it's a game. It's a game. The Striped Boys
that's all she
are the
wrote.
final word. Once they leave the gym, this thing's final.
So the officials doing a nice job under a lot of pressure tonight with two outstanding ball clubs. Final score is Carmel 52, Lawrence North 49. We'll take a break, come back and wrap things up from LN in just a moment on the IHSAA Champions Network.
It's easy to buy insurance and forget about it. But the more you learn about your coverage, the more gaps you might find. Like how you thought you were covered for this.
Check it out, Mom.
When you're really only covered for this. Or how you figured you're covered for this when you're actually paying for this. You might be surprised at what's hiding in your coverage. Talk to farmers and get smarter about your insurance.
We are farmers. Bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 bum.
To speak with a farmer's agent in your community, call 888-96.
Mr. Vanderweilen, our executive producer who helps select these games, he's 2 for 2 in the last week, isn't he?
He did his homework. What a game, Big. Unbelievable game.
And we thought it would be coming in, but you just never know. Let's take a look now. First off, for Lawrence North, their leading scorer was Pat Bacon with 16. Had he made the final bucket there, we'd still be playing some basketball. This young man is a heck of a player. But Carmel's defense did a nice job on him tonight.
Yeah, they really did. LN really had to work hard for their points. Stayed in it by free throws, 13 of 16.
Now for the Carmel Greyhounds, this is interesting, Jan. Of the 5 starters, only 3 of them scored. Merriweather and Duncan did not score in tonight's game, and they got only 3 players in the scoring column. Let's see, they get 25 points out of Ryan Klein. Check it, Merriweather did have 2 points in the ball game. We'll talk about Ryan Klein for just a moment. This young man is got ice water.
Unbelievable. How he's not a McDonald's All-American is beyond me. How could you get him better than that? 6 3-pointers, none bigger than that. He clearly put this team on his shoulder as he has all year long and said, I'll win it for you, and he did.
And it's interesting to note that there weren't a lot of open shots for him. You pointed out during the telecast, he was getting bumped and banged around in there pretty good, kept his cool, and managed to get that last big shot that really won the ball game.
Well, he got 25 points, but degree of difficulty was 9.5 because that's how hard he had to work for his shot.
And how about a comment on Preston Flamian? This young man, one of the starters, averaging 8.4, comes away with 13 points, and that doesn't really signify his value to this game tonight.
Clearly the X factor, he had at least 6 offensive rebounds, and clearly that was the difference in the game.
And Keegan Culp, the other guy on the ball club that averaged double figures, 12.1, finished right at his average tonight of 12 points. So Jan fighting 52 to 49. We could see these guys battling some. Well, they go different directions in the tournament, but what a game tonight.
Well, if they meet, it'll be way down there. That'd be the right place.
Like down at Bankers Life Fieldhouse, I bet it. All right, again, a reminder that next Saturday night, first off, the girls' tournament starts next Tuesday. Next Saturday, we will be at Hamilton Southeastern for the championship game of that sectional. That should be one whale of a sectional. So for Rick Vanderweilen and Sweet Lou, and for my buddy Jan Bozier, I'm Jerry Baker saying good night. Thanks for joining us on the IHSAA Champions Television Network.